It has been too long a time, but here we are again, in the latest instalment of Australian route suggestions. Today we'll be looking at Berowra to Berowra via Chatswood, Strathfield and Epping. Today we will look at the almost limitless possibilities of my preferred candidate for the first Australian route for Train Sim World 2, the Sydney Trains lines between Central and Berowra via both Epping and Chatswood. The route covers a total distance of 75 kilometres or 46 miles. If this is too long, I will explore ways to reduce this later. It also has 31 stations. The route starts on the northern edge of Sydney suburban services at Berowra, running south along the main North Line through major stations at Hornsby, Epping and Strathfield, before joining the 6-track main suburban line westward towards Central, before continuing up the North Shore line back to Hornsby via the Harbour Bridge, offering views of the harbour including the Opera House, North Sydney, Chatswood and Gordon. The route will also include the S-Bahn style City Circle, which is a double-track balloon loop with stations at Central, Town Hall, Wynyard, Circular Quay, St James and Museum before returning back to Central. Significant points of interest along the route, starting at Berowra and running clockwise, are the Hornsby Maintenance Centre, Hornsby Yard, North Sydney and the short branch to the Lavender Bay sidings, Central and the epic flyovers immediately south, Everleigh Maintenance Centre and McDonaldtown Yard, and Strathfield Junction. Here are these locations now on a map. The route also caters for diverse variation in physical infrastructure, with major tunnels, bridges, single, double, triple, quadruple and sextuple tracking in place. Interesting signalling systems with ETCS level 1 and huge variation in line speeds between 45 and 115 km per hour. This route, in the most ideal world, would have 3 base trains. Without context, this may seem very optimistic, as most routes for Train Sim World 2 come with only 1 or 2 trains as standard. However, as I will explain in a moment, 3 trains is very achievable for this route, and will create a huge step up in realism in my opinion. The trains in question are all double-deck EMUs, the Sydney Trains A, B and T sets. Here are the specifications for these trains. T-set Tangaras. These trains are 4 cars long, but only operate in 8-car consists nowadays. They have a top service speed of 115 km per hour and were introduced in the late 80s and early 90s. There are 111 4-car trains in service. I will talk later what routes these run on. A and B set Waratahs. The A set trains are 8 cars long and have a top speed of 130 km per hour. They were introduced from 2011 and there are 78 trains in service. The B set trains are 90% similar to the A sets, with only a different livery, different LED lighting, and upgraded LCD passenger display screens. There are 41 trains in service, with the latest trains being introduced in the very, very recent past. These trains could, and do in real life, operate on all featured lines, allowing for a much more diverse and immersive driving experience. Sydney Trains operates a very frequent timetabling, offering S-Bahn style services on its network. The core section, generally considered the City Circle or between Wynyard and Central via Town Hall and Museum, operates at 20 trains per hour or better during peak hour, with the other radial lines having minimum headways of 15 minutes or 4 trains per hour. However, many still operate at 15 trains per hour or higher during peak hours. I believe drivable lines should include the T1 between Strathfield and Berowra via Chatswood, using the Tangara and both Waratahs, the T2 between Strathfield and the City Circle, using A and B set Waratahs but not Tangaras, running local services on that branch, the T3 within the city, using A and B set Waratahs, and the T9 from Berowra to Berowra via the city, aka the whole length of the line, using all 3 types of train. So shown here, the only lines included would be the yellow T1 between Berowra and Strathfield, the red T9 between Berowra and Strathfield, the T3 and T8, orange and green respectively, around the City Circle only, and the T2 light blue between Strathfield and the City Circle. All in all, there will be over 1,000 drivable services, ranging from express Strathfield to City, City Circle only, full-length runs between Berowra and Berowra, and deadheads jotted around the map. I imagine shunt moves around Waverton from Lavender Bay sidings would be incredibly fun. A large amount of AI services could also exist, such as T4 line trains at Town Hall, using Tangaras. If this route is too complex to recreate, some simple shortenings could reduce the workload. These include removing the Lavender Bay branch, cutting back the line at Hornsby from Berowra, and removing the City Circle. If this is not enough, the Tangara train could be removed. The route can also be highly upscaled, not in terms of extra route lengths, as this is already pushing it, but in terms of extra trains. These could include a freight pack to run between Berowra and Strathfield, making use of the third track on the main North Line, or an intercity trains pack, including H-set Oscars and V-sets that run express trains from Central to Strathfield on the Blue Mountains Line, V-set only, and the Central Coast and Newcastle Line, H and V-sets, between Central and Berowra via Epping, with very limited North Shore Express services in the peak. H-sets could also run some suburban T1 services in the off-peak as repositioning workings. H-sets could also be seen at Central running AI South Coast Line services south beyond Redfern. To conclude, I believe this route would be a great candidate for immortalization via simulation. I cite its great variation in infrastructure, unique and interesting rolling stock, complex, challenging, and fun operations, and infinite scalability. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to see more route suggestions, make sure to like and subscribe.